I can't say that we haven't had success either, because over time, kids will get used to things, and we worked really hard to find balance. I think one of the things we did this year is we went back to having a kid-friendly item on the menu along with something that's a little bit more perceived healthy and made from scratch. So we're offering more variety to try and keep participation up, because, again, we can't really afford to have parents say, well, I'm not going to send them to, with a hot lunch today because they don't like anything on the menu. So we've been really careful, to try and build the participation back, and that's worked well for us. Kids do get used to whole grain. They're not complaining every day about the pasta anymore, but do they like it as well? And how many kids just aren't taking hot lunch because they don't like it and went home and told their mom that? It's difficult to know that. But I do know that, things like the whole grain bun, the whole grain pizza, there's a marked difference in taste and texture, and if it were across the board that kids had to have whole grain everywhere they went, had to eat fruits and vegetables at home every day, then it'd be a little easier to get kids used to it than what it is now. The changes next year, again, for the high school would be huge. Not so much as, Fox River's a la carte is pretty small, but when we bring a chef in, we can't serve anything that he comes up with. It has to be something that we've got a recipe for, that we figured out ahead. We've had a dietitian look at. Kind of takes away some of the creativity and the excitement that they bring, which is one of the reasons why the high school is considering a video state program, because those kids are used to some really nice things that would have to go away.
Do you have any questions, sir?
I have the same leanings, but I think we've got to look carefully at the financial aspect.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree, because you have almost 20% that are free and reduced, and that a lot of the families, that's basically the meal the kids get it. And, they don't have that much at home. If we eliminate that, what are they going to do? But I don't want to put a burden on the district, so how are we going to cover it?
No, I agree. Any other questions? No? First of all, I want to say thank you very much, by the way, for the Christmas cookies. Very much appreciated. They were great. And you do a great job. I mean, I feel bad that you have to deal with all this business from USDA's end. And it just seems that the government wants to put their fingers in every little piece of where they're not supposed to be. The government was never this involved in the food program for the last 100 years. And all of a sudden they choose to tell everybody how to be healthy. You can't even run a healthcare site, let alone run a food service program. So we're great that they're on top or looking out for our best interests. But thank you for all your hard work and help. And more to be discussed, I guess.
I guess I don't want you to feel concerned, or it's that time that we go out and bid, and so it's a bidding process, and we appreciate all the work that you've done in the past. It's just our cycle to try to bid this out.
Yeah, and as Chris pointed out, because that there's a procedure for that that's very regulated, as well as probably something that has to be decided fairly soon, because whether you go through the bid process or not is kind of contingent on your decision. And then the changes that will take place next year will also affect the way it's bid out. So that budget will look different for next year regardless. So we have to kind of work on that as well if you decide to stay in, and we're going to go through the bid process. In other words, the a la carte sales will have to be protected at a lower amount based on the changes that are coming. So, because what generally in the bid process is you look at history, and so you look at the last year, and everybody bases the numbers on that. But with this big change, we've asked EPI for some guidance, and they said, you'll need to take a look at a la carte and come up with a percentage that you feel it's going to be effective. So.
All right. I didn't have anything. We'll make this an action item for next week.
As far as in or out of the USDA program?
Right.
Okay.
It should be a full vote.
No, I agree with that. Okay. Yeah.
Is there a second question as far as? No, okay.
I mean, it's gonna go for bid because, management does no matter what.
Right.
But the, whether we're in or out is really the only question at this point. And it just comes down to the numbers, what will it be. I mean, as far as I'm hearing, no matter what happens, we're gonna have a great food service program. If we stay with USDA, we have more restrictions, more limitations, only whole grain, less participation, and most likely more waste and less students eating it because they just don't have the taste. And if we go the other way, we'll go back to what we used to have, which was a great food service program. Not saying we're not a great food service. We were even better at that point.
I understand.
More participation.
Yeah, I guess the clarification would be that, the bid processes are required based on being part of the National Select Firms. And what Chris was saying is that if you decided to not be participating in it next year, then you wouldn't be required to bid it out if you didn't want to.
Gotcha.
That's all. So,
Okay.
but if we do, it has to be, something that we start pretty soon.
All right.
Would you say have a second issue then on how you're gonna address the free and reduced?
Yeah, I think it's a separate issue with budget.
No, I meant as that, when it comes to the board.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're ready to decide that tonight, but we have to definitely keep it on this.
I think it's a separate issue in the budgeting of it. I mean, if you're going to put this on, or anticipate putting this on the docket for next week, then I would say I am all in favor of moving forward to the board with a positive vote of leaving the USDA school lunch program. With the numbers to be determined later, how we finance it.
The other piece then you'll have to think about is, do you want to stick with Tucker on that, or do you want to bid it out?
I'm more than happy with what Todd has done for a decade now. Todd has at majority of the schools around this area. Everybody is happy with what Todd has done.
Okay.
I think our management of the food service program speaks for itself.
Okay.
The quality, we used to have a lot higher participation, not for Tucker's lack of trying, it's just because of the USDA put their boot under your neck. I mean, what can you do when you're told you have to serve one thing, kids don't like it. I'd much rather have choice for the students and see the students choosing to eat rather than being forced to throw away. That'd be my summation of it. What do you say, Paul?
Agreed.
Okay, so two positives going forward, you want the board to vote?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is that something that gets revisited each year, or can it be? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to jump in and out of it.
Right.
We've always been in the USDA program. We used to have our own staff completely. Everything was made from scratch, bread, everything. Well, I can imagine that nightmare now trying to do that. But we switched from our own staff managing it to Topper managing it. Increased the number of choices, increased by the salad bar, and the students can choose their foods. A lot of additions, and since then the USDA has been a downward spiral for us. Rather see more students eating lunch and be happy with what they have.
Right. I just think, just like all of you said, just have to be careful for free and reduced students that we have to leave them out.
And there is a lot more waste this year from when we talk to the students and that.
Oh, yeah.
Why do you think? We don't have a choice. And like Ann said, they get it.
About 2 feet, go away. Yeah, and the thing I have a very hard time with is I believe what's coming down the line in the next few years is if it's on your plate, there will be somebody sitting by the garbage and watching you throw it away. We'll talk about 1984, but anyways, it hasn't happened yet, thank goodness. So, any more discussion on that?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.